All right, thank you. Hope you're able to see my screen and can see your screen, right, Prashant?
Yes, fine.
Yes, we can.
Okay, perfect. All right, thank you for confirmation. Yeah, good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening. Thank you for joining with us today. Today our topic would be generative AI for Trailblazers. To unlock the future of artificial intelligence, which is AI. And we'll quickly introduce ourselves. But before that, this event, especially which we're collaboratively doing with one of the other group in India, which is Vijayawada Partner Group, along with Singapore Marketers Group. And we'll have some quick introduction about ourselves. I'll just go through our introduction. So before that, I'm pretty sure that generative AI is one of the biggest hot topics for the current market. And this is one of the exciting topic always that has been all over the news. And while most of us have heard about generative AI and maybe have played around when we're working with ChatGPT and other open APIs, the majority of the people don't understand the technology behind it. But today we would love to see, as we see generative AI becoming more and more part of our lives, we want to enable everyone so you can be a trailblazers. You're all powerful trailblazers in this incredible new world of generative AI. We will learn many and much more things about this topic today, right? Let's have a quick introduction about myself. Myself, Anindra, and I'm based in Singapore. I'm a Salesforce MVP. I'm a 2 times marketing champion, and I lead Salesforce Singapore Marketers Group as well as Slack community group leader in Singapore. You could follow me on LinkedIn, and you could follow me on Twitter as well. So I'll quickly ask Prashant to introduce himself, and then we can quick start the session.
Thanks so much, Funny. Hi, everyone. My name is Prashant. So I'm a Salesforce marketing champion. I'm a technical lead and 19 times Salesforce certified consultant. I'm also a community group leader and Trailblazers mentor. Thank you.
Yeah, you could follow Prashant on LinkedIn, Twitter as well, and you could say hi, hello, and you can ask any questions on Salesforce and other platforms as well. Right. Thank you. So let's come to our topic. AI is not a new topic, right? So we're working when we are in our engineering or when we are in our graduations. So we always listen some buzz about AI. Definitely when I was 90, when we are in 90s or 80s or 20s generation, we always thought about what AI can change, but AI definitely can change something someday, and the day come, and we all aware of what's happening inside our ecosystem. And of course, this is not a new topic for Trailblazers because the Salesforce platform has AI natively built in, which is Einstein. We have Einstein predictions, we have Einstein intelligence, we have nest-based actions, nest-based offers. So we have plenty of things, right? So when Salesforce launched Einstein in 2016, it brought a data scientist to every organization to harness the predictive insights. And always, it provides a lot of recommendations to work smarter and faster for every customer, right? Do you believe that today Einstein runs 1 trillion predictions every week? This is massive, massive a lot. Because that recommendations will work smarter as well as it works faster as well. If you look at the first AI for a CRM, which we are launching Einstein at 2013 or 2016, and we always thought, think through a process where, okay, this is our data scientist, this is our data predictive system, and it has low code, pro code kind of a thing, and it's available for every cloud, right? Sales cloud, service cloud, revenue cloud, or manufacturing, wherever it is. So it brings a lot of potential for every customer. I'm not sure how many of them have raised Einstein predictions for your day-to-day work, for predicting your case sentiments, predicting your churn analysis, predicting your CSATs for customers. So it brings a lot of driven insights for every companies. To bring all together, you're already aware of it at Trailblazer DX. Recently, we had a big events in every Salesforce every year. One of the biggest events is Trailblazer DX, especially for the developers. Salesforce announced Einstein GPT, which brings the incredible power of generative AI to the Salesforce platform. This innovation works with the full power of Salesforce platform from your trusted customer data, and the Einstein GPT helps you, generate a trusted content from CRM data and impose every experience across customer 360. It not only for you yourself, it only provides your customers and for your employees as well. When it comes to your emails, your messages, your articles, landing pages, even flows, Einstein is here to help and assist you in your role as an admin. It gives the world's most trusted generative AI for enterprise. So this is the summer of artificial intelligence, which is AI, and there is so much innovation coming soon on the roadmap. And if you look at recently the sales GPTs, Slack GPT, Service GPT, Commerce GPT, Marketing GPT. So it's been in a lot of innovatives have been coming on a product base with the exciting announcement of Einstein GPT and all of the features coming soon. There is no better time to learn about generative AI. I wish everyone wants to focus on something about what is generative AI, how we could, use the generative AI, and how you will be able to use it. Okay, so let's talk about a couple of fundamentals. What is generative AI and why it is so important? And we will see how we can unblock the future of AI from a Einstein ChatGPT perspective, right? So today we'll cover generative AI fundamentals. So we'll start with what is generative AI, why it is so important, and let's start with defining a generative AI. A generative AI is a powerful technology that is talking the world by storm, and this is something which I've been hard about when I'm working with Google for one of the biggest transformations, especially on AI models, NLP, NL models. So hope you're aware of there's a TensorFlow. When I tested this TensorFlow long way back 2016 for designing one of the production system for the biggest enterprise company. So that time I've heard about generative AI, which I've thought it gives a lot of deep learning algorithms, which comes with NLP, NLM kind of a structure, natural language processing, natural language machine learning programs. So what it does is, so it brings a family of deep learning algorithms that can automatically create a new content such as your text, imagery, code, voice, and even video as well. I've seen many of the companies now has been generating a PowerPoint slides based on one single sentence. Imagine how big the generative AI is. So in order to generate this content, a generative algorithms less patterns and features from massive amount of training data, which is required officially, of course, right? Because you have to, that AI will bring all the powerful data across the systems of your internet sources and all this stuff, and it'll bring you the relevant content for you to personalize. That's a massive, right? So that's what the generative AI is very powerful. That brings world by storm as well. Let's talk about what is generative AI, why this is a big storm has been come into the picture. So what are all the building blocks behind this generative AI? You may have heard the terms machine learning, right? And you may have heard the terms of deep learning and generative AI before. But did you know deep learning is a type of machine learning? And generative AI is a type of deep learning. While these terms are sometimes used interchangeably, they are distinct types of AIs. So what happens is the machine learning leverages data to generate predictions. The more data we feed into a machine learning system, the better it can predict. Isn't it true? Because you have plenty of data, then only you should be able to design your best predictions. Even when you look at your marketing cloud, when Einstein marketing cloud has been generated, our send time optimization, our copy insights, our content insights. So Einstein, content Einstein, STO, Einstein, SEO. So we have plenty of things in marketing cloud stack already way back long marketing cloud, right? If you imagine, if you have a data, then only it gives you the right predictions. It always brings the last 30 days because it requires at least 30 to 60 days of time to generate all the insights. So the fundamental concept that what brings out here is an API, which is a generative AI. That's what this machine learning does, all this magic. Machine learning leverages the data to generate all the predictions. The more data we feed into a machine learning system, the better it can predict always. When it comes to the deep learning is a type of machine learning that uses complex algorithms. It brings the best of complex algorithms, also known as neural network. This is where I'm coming from when I'm working with the TensorFlow. It connects the multiple bind of neural networks that learn what we are entering the characters and what kind of a task that we are performing without explicitly programming step-by-step instructions, because it's just a pure play, connecting ways of the neural networks. That's where the generative AI, it fits in here under deep learning concept. Because when you write something, so it goes and then bring different kind of patterns, and that patterns will explicitly program step-by-step instructions, which can bring the results for you from the deep learning concept. Right. So we have been interacting with these concepts in our daily lives. If you look at, if you look at autocomplete in search engine or on your mobile device, but when you go to your Google Chrome and then you're trying to search, so it will bring all the results. At the same time, if you go to if you go to your mobile and then you're trying to search in Bingo or any other browser, which can give you the relevant results, because their entire search engine has been based on one of the algorithms. Every search engine has their own algorithm, which is designed in such a way to bring the relevant results for every customer. That's why we're all, if you want to go and learn something or search something, so we always prefer to have Google. We always prefer to have an Yahoo before. We always prefer to have some other internet browsers. But here, the generative AI takes deep learning a step further, and it gives a better of each and every result that what we, and it can accommodate as well the entire family of the deep learning algorithm that can automatically create multiple assets for us, which include your code, voice, videos, presentations, whatever, everything. So let's talk about what are the foundation models. Let's talk about the LLMs. You should understand what is LLM, the respective traditional deep learning methods have plenty of millions of parameters versus the large language models, which is LLM, what we can calling as large language models, which is again a billions of parameters. So the traditional deep learning versus the large language models. So traditional deep learning method use smaller neural networks to solve your AI problems, such as making predictions or recognize patterns. Generative AI is built upon large language models, which is nothing but a foundational models. It always took the foundations. While you're generating anything, you always stick with your foundation models, which are essential very large neural networks. These neural networks include billions of parameters. Even the tiny small things also will consume your billions of parameters that interconnects your decision-making elements that collectively give rise to their capabilities, that representing your huge increase over traditional methods as well. That's where its size set is a massive. If you look at, while generative AI has been thrust into the spotlight, thanks to the release of popular product like ChatGPT, many of the roots and interactions of generative and your conversations, your AI has been, hallmarks of all our digital lives for quite some time. For example, or for instance, consider how a search engine knows how to complete searches for you, right? So that's where it brings a powerful model that built on large language models, ideally which are essential to have your very large neural networks as well. So these neural networks are the billions of parameters, which you could, always, when you build something, start with the basic foundational models. That's how this generative AI works with the, the large language models versus a traditional deep learning methods. So the rise of generative AI, there are three key contributing factors, especially when you work with anything, you need a data. You need a data for sure. The more data, so because when you always think about, okay, why generative AI having its inflection point now? Why not 90s? Why not 20s? Or why not, 2020 or 21 or sometimes? Why now? So there are three contributing groups here. One with more data, the other one with better algorithms, compute power. On a day by day, our generation, when the generation comes to the picture, like, in our generation, so we always have to learn about our mathematics starting from 1 to 20 tables. When you're powerful at 20 tables, you're literally, a good mathematician to do all your trigonometry in other areas, right? But when you look at a different kind of a people where they start their mathematics or 20 table complete at age of or at the class of 7th or 8th class, so that brings a difference between a person who knows 20 tables at age 1 or age 3, or a person who learns tables at age 20. So we are in the age of generative AI, which brings a powerful methods. We have internet access. We have, we have large, huge server access. We have everywhere inside our single pocket. That's where these three rise also will be dependent upon this key contributors. So more data. there's a huge amount of data that is available today, number one. Number two is we have better deep learning algorithms have been developed that discover patterns within the large amounts of data. That's what we're calling as a better algorithm. And we have a large amounts of available compute power, make it possible to process the sheer amount of data required for generative AI. If you look at different services now Salesforce have been inside Salesforce, we only have our own data centers initially, which is very less, 3 to 4 data centers. Now with the concept of Hyperforce, now we have extended our routes to a different data centers, which customer can happily purchase Salesforce orgs and then can trust compliance and which meets the regulatory and all the aspects. That's where the Hyperforce comes in the picture. So day by day, we are using a compute power, from way back our 20s to now, our servers to the Hyperforce. So we're moving out. We're moving the better customer experience always of moving out to make available of your compute power, make it possible the process to sheer amount of data that requires for your different customers by using a generative AI. So that's where the rise will always be happening. These are all the 3 key contributing factors which you would understand from a generative AI perspective. When it comes to your, we always thoughts about why it's important. So we have covered what generative AI is. Now let's talk about why it's so important. Generally, our generative AI is creating opportunities for businesses. Of course, it does all the way, because that's where nowadays businesses are more interested to, do. They wanted to reduce staff and then use a lot of systems to, generate the complex algorithms. Using complex algorithms, they want to generate some personalized content and always. In an IT survey, 67% of IT leaders noted that prioritizing generative AI in the next 6 months. That's really true. Because the businesses are excited about the huge potential for generative AI. This makes it even more important that as a Trailblazers, we understand the underlying technology and how it might transform the way business operates, so we can bring the power of AI to our core companies. Right? So business are always excited. They're always excited, So they always ask Trailblazers, okay, so we are really excited about the potential to drive efficiency and the productivity with the help of generative AI. With the same lines, interacting with generative AI for the first time can be mind-blowing. It has a mind-blowing experience for everyone, because it helps you for everyone. It helps you for everything. It'll help you to generate everything from your writing poems in the style of pirate, to create email copywriting, to even generate lines of code. Right? So it's very critical to know it's responsible with the generative AI. So if you look at a couple of products that what we have been launching, as a part of an Einstein ChatGPT for Salesforce. If you look at Slack GPT, that automatically generates a kind of recommendations from a workflow the Slack developers have been designed. So at the same time, we have Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, Marketing ChatGPT, Commerce ChatGPT. So it fundamentally brings all these products, which brings out a lot of specific use cases and the features that what essentially can leverage with the customers to bring the more value additions, to bring the right touch points, which increase their ROI and always, right? So that's where the IT leaders are more focusing on prioritizing their generative AI in the next 6 months. And they're so exciting about the huge potential for generative AI, and that makes sense for every person. And we as a Trailblazers who are working with all the companies have been really the same level of excitement where we can bring and where we understand the underlying technology of how we might transform the way business operates and how we could generate or bring our ideas to up and running on this generative AI. Yep. Let's talk about some couple of principles. There are 4 principles that we could use generative AI responsibly. Number 1, always trust. Trust is always one of the factors of Salesforce. And to start with the core principles: trust, security, accuracy, and empowerment. So when it comes to the trust, make it clear when content is AI generated. Follow your company's guidelines around usage. So it's always need to have, these are all the 4 fundamental core principles that if you want to start developing any AI generative application or AI generative, or want to leverage AI generative tools, make sure it should be always start with your privacy, security, and compliance kind of a thing. So number 1 is trust. The number 2 is security. Protect personally PII data, personally identifiable information, and proprietary company information. So don't put any information at your text subject or anything that you want to search with, because there are two fundamental ways that you could grab if you want to leverage any third-party tools like ChatGPT 4, ChatGPT 3.5, or ChatGPT. There is a ChatGPT, one more new edition came like ChatGPT Plus or something. So when you purchase any edition, normally what people does is people directly leverage the API of OpenAI of ChatGPT to bring the API stuff into your Salesforce platforms. Or some of the customers or some of the hardcore developers, what that does is they're going to build a platform, they're going to build an application, which is a Node.js or any other platform. They build a chatbot. Let's take an example. They build a chatbot using OpenAI in the form of Node.js application. They build a complete application with the using OpenAI as their API, and they build entire application and they're deploying their entire application to Google, GCP engine, or Microsoft, or any other Amazon. So they could leverage their hosting platform somewhere. So when it comes to, so at the same time, when companies wanted to use this tool that generated or designed by your developers, they always have, trust in them, trust and security, which makes an impact, right? Because when they're trying to search something on because you have to teach, you have to learn the data of entire your systems. So when you want to write, bring me my top 10 potential accounts, then it automatically brings the data, right? So it always comes with whether this data has been leveraging by third-party person who already brought API. So that's where it comes into the picture. So we should always make it to, protect our PI data when designing such an applications. At the same time, find your proprietary company information, that not to make false statements or send this information back to the third-party companies. Then the most number, accuracy. That's where every people, let's take example, sales or any other customers, they want to get the accuracy, generative kind of an ideas always. So they always review and revise the generated content to ensure accuracy. That's what most important factor. See, other principle is empowerment. Using AI, it's one of the assistant to supercharge your capabilities. It always gives a lot of empowerment for you to grow individually as well as your personal goals, as well as your company goals as well. So that's gives a lot of potential. 4 principles, which is trust, security, accuracy, and empowerment. And let's talk about some common concerns about generative AI. So always there are common concerns when I talked about last few seconds back. So the trust, security, and we have spoofing, we have sustainability model. With any new technology, not only this, when we build any application, so we have to run through with CSOC securities compliance. We have to run through different departments for running the OWASP standards. So you have to do plenty of things in order to pass application security review from any of your application or any of your app to be deployed to live for any enterprise companies. With any technology comes with risk. So how can you approach generative AI, understanding its limitations and common concerns? So here are a few of the main concerns with generative AI. Hallucinations. Generative AI is a form of prediction, and sometimes predictions are wrong. We can't say that it's 100%, right? Because it's an AI, it's not a human. Generative AI's incorrect responses are also known as hallucinations. That's what the term in a generative AI perspective. With any AI generated text, it's super important to review the content and ensure that it is accurate and correct. Number 1. Number 2, data security. You always protect PI data, and you have to always protect your proprietary company information when using AI services. Trust is critical factor. Of course, your security team won't allow you to deploy this application until they satisfy all the security, until they pass all the security elements. Don't worry. None of the teams haven't go live with conducting this security. Conducting security comes with a lot of regulations. You have to pass every regulation in order to deploy your application to go live. The next thing, if you look at your plagiarism, so large language models, the concept of large language models and AI models for image generation are typically trained on publicly available data, right? Because when you look at nowadays in any movie or something, or you look at so it automatically scans your face imaginary and it provides the data automatically. Okay, who's this person? So based on your eye, so what is your first name, last name, SSN number, and all this data, right? So that is a possibility. That's a model will learn a style and replicate that style as well. So that's one of the common concerns as well. really not sure how that really is going to be make it for whether it will replicate your style, whether it replace your entire data. So that's one of the common concern. User spoofing. It's always easier than ever to create a believable online profile, complete with an AI generated pictures. There are some fake users like this can interact with real users, right? So, I mean, other than fake users, in a very realistic way, ideally. So that makes me hard for businesses to identify bot networks that promote their own bot content. Everyone who designed the bot, they use some captcha, they use some different relevant mechanisms to stop spoofing from a user-centric perspective. We always believe that, okay, this is an online profile, and we always believe that, okay, this is a perfect data. But we're not sure how these hackers have been coming into it and then spoofing all this, your online forms, and then make your life so concerned about these kind of things. So it's one of the particular concern about user spoofing. Next important thing is sustainability. So sustainability, you always know the computing power, right? So the computing power required to train AI models is immense, because it requires plenty of data, plenty of servers, plenty of systems. And the processors doing the math require a lot of actual power to run. As models get bigger, so do their carbon footprint. Fortunately, once a model is trained, it takes relatively little power to process request. That's a good thing, actually. And renewable energy is expanding almost as fast as AI adoption, right? So it's key factor. One of the common concerns is sustainability as well. And so if you want to learn more about generative AI, check out the Trailmix link here, which includes valuable resources and content. Just type with sforce.co/AI skills quest. So it's one of the quests where I want everyone to learn about what is this common concerns, and you can see plenty of information as well. Let's go to the next thing. So we came to the third agenda, which is how we should unlock the future of AI. Yes, there are some biggest 3 steps to unlock the future of AI. There are 3 key steps to be an AI-minded admin. Number 1, stay up to date on Salesforce AI. Number 2, learn generative AI fundamentals. Number 3, get ready for data-centric AI as we are here, right? So that's the most 3 key steps to unlock the future of AI. So just start learning it and then find out the best things today, and then learn something big, and then make a step for your empowerment as well. Let's start with how we can understand the prompt engineering. This is something which you have to understand. So recently, Salesforce has been introducing a prompt, an Einstein prompt. So you could see more number of things. What does prompt does? You do not have to wait for the Salesforce generative AI features beta to get hands-on with generative AI. You can start using free generative AI tools today. So the first thing you can do is to understand the prompt engineering. The prompts are how you interact with generative AI. That's all the prompt engineering is. You know, the natural language prompts are the input used to prompt the generated responses. So that is one of the that's what we're calling as prompts. So you always experiment with tools such as Google Bard and OpenAI ChatGPT, right? And you always go with TensorFlow for Google's for learning your NLP, your natural language processing models, and all this stuff. You always have familiarize yourself with the technology and start to identify places where AI can assist you. And if you have never interacted with these kind of tools before, there are some of the steps which has been given here, and you can try as well. So what you can do is, some of the sample prompts are, you can write a friendly email text when a contact gets converted to an opportunity, and you could write a SQL statement that shows me users for the API access. And you could give some 5 slogans for an onboarding campaign for the new Salesforce users with my financial company. And of course, you could write a poem about how Friday is the best day of the week as well. So there are some of the prompts which you could try it out. Always follow your company security policies, always to try something out with generative AI tool. This is most important thing. So you always experiment and familiarize yourself with generative AI, but do not forget the biggest statement: always follow your company security policies when using generative AI tools. So if anyone haven't heard about this prompt, just go and then search with the Salesforce Einstein prompt or something. So you'll get to know how the prompt has been generated. So it's currently beta, the feature is in beta, but you could span up one of the tool and then you could try to check it out as well. You could try maybe some of the free tools like ChatGPT, OpenAI, Google's Bard, and Google's Tensor as well. So we come to the end of the session. So let's talk about what are all some of the tips for an expert prompt engineering. So the 3 tips that we would love to give from an expert prompt engineering would be, if you're already familiar with these tools and exploring more ways to use generative AI, here are some of the tips for prompts that will help you return the best responses from these tools. When coming up with our own prompts, follow these 3 tips. Number 1, provide context. Provide context. Always ground generative AI prompt. Because if you look at the context at what you would love to provide, which always should be a ground generative AI prompt in your own knowledge to provide important context. Consider the difference in response between asking ChatGPT to write email versus write an onboarding email for a new Salesforce user at a financial service company, which prompts you think always to provide the most valuable response. That's one of the key factors. The number 2 is be security minded always. Do not put any confidential company information or data into public generative AI tool. As I said initially, don't write saying that, so my friend's email ID is so and the phone number is so and so to generate some good email or subject line, something like that. Confidentiality. Confidential information can include source code, customer information, deal information. Always follow company security policies when working with generative AI tools. Most important. The 3rd and 3, which always review and revise generative AI output to ensure accuracy. Never deploy solution generated by AI directly into production without testing and validations, and to pass the security. Always 3 steps. Testing, validating, and security review. 3. So don't deploy any generative AI application to production directly without doing all this. If you are working with a text, always ensure you review and revise to avoid copyright information. And better, not the best. You do not want to unintentionally, spoof through a public generative AI tools, right? So always don't caught behind that what you're doing it, because your security team always watching you on what's happening, what's doing it, all the stuff. So make sure we should be more prompt in order to leveraging an AI. If you leverage AI in a right way, it will bring you the perfect revenues, perfect results. But if you leverage in a wrong way, so it will take you out, and then it makes you mix and match kind of stuff. Yeah. So these are all some of the 3 tips, 3 tips for expert prompt engineering. And yeah, so this is how we could, of course, you have learned something on generative AI today. And that's all for our session today. We have learned many about generative AI, why it's important for Trailblazers, and how you could unlock the future of AI today. To learn more about these topics, you can check out the Trailmix link here. It always includes key resources to help you to dive deeper into these fundamental AI concepts. And so there is a Trailblazer quest. The skill quest has been given. AI skills quest. Go and then learn on the OpenAI, generative AI, and many other tools. I'm pretty sure that the generations have been going on and on, so we should be upskill ourselves with the new platforms. Not sure, now we are 10 developers, maybe in the next generation only 2 developers are working on, the rest 8 developers working on AI. Yeah, so the AI can does all the job of us. But of course, as I said, whatever the positives we learn from AI, there are negatives as well. So we always trust ourselves and then be friend forward for learning something new, and then keep upgrade all the stuff. Yeah. Thank you for joining. Have a great rest of your day, and any questions, I'll happy to help you out as well. Thank you. Stop share, and if any questions, I'll be happy to help you out. Thank you. Cannot talk. Okay, let me unmute. Okay, let me unmute. Who's asking question?
Hey, Funny. Hi. Thanks
Yes,
for the great session here.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I had a quick question on generative AI and how it will impact the Salesforce function because Salesforce function also does the same thing.
Mhm.
I know it is a machine learning Salesforce function that it uses internally.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to understand the impact of generative AI on uh, Salesforce function for that matter.
Impact of generative AI in terms of as I've told, it's always, when you look at generative AI, it has a potential to significantly impact the business world, offering increased productivity, efficiency, and opportunities for innovation, right? So if you look at understanding all the different concepts of generative AI and the key applications, businesses can leverage this technology to achieve their goals. But there are always, as I said, there are positive things, and always there is a significant impact of generative AI for Salesforce. Salesforce is designing the entire generative AI using the ChatGPT open APIs, and they're designed the complete Einstein products. If you look at sales, service, marketing, Slack, they've designed the products using OpenAI, and then they deployed into our own Hyperforce, and they deployed entire stuff into our own data cloud. And if you look at from a security standpoint, we were very safe. Number one, the security stand, because if you look at all our Salesforce data sitting on Salesforce databases only. So if anything that you generated from our own applications, it's only generated within our sales GPT, service GPT, or commerce GPT, because the data sitting inside and it's not going outside anywhere. That's number one. The most important factor. People always think that, right? When you look at generative AI now, I always said, like, people entering some topics about generate the most top 5 accounts revenue, generate the top negative sentiment cases. It'll bring the results, but the good thing in Salesforce ChatGPT is the data will not go outside. Everything is sits inside only. Pretty much, I'm not seeing anything on the negative side, because that's where the product has been built for Salesforce of all this GPT, right? Did it answers your question? Thanks, Ashish. And from a security standpoint, also, we are very safe, especially in Salesforce, because if any of your internal developer is one of the super developer leveraging third-party open API and then building something on Salesforce, then that's a problem. But if you're using your own Salesforce designed, everything that Salesforce designed for you on a product, and then they're deploying their products into our Hyperforce, and then using data cloud principles, and then we could use it very efficiently, because fully trusted, very compliant, everything is completely sustainable on this aspect. Is there any specific trailheads do you recommend for marketing GPT AI? Shiva, currently, I think there's only one. The trailheads have not been come for marketing GPT or anything, sales, service, or currently the OpenAI is the only one. The trailhead quest that have been given in the link, that's the only one, Shiva. Any other questions? Can we expecting any new domain specific AI tool around sales and service in upcoming as a really? Exactly. So we're all looking forward for Dreamforce. Gaurav, 100% sure that Dreamforce is a key. As you know, right, every Dreamforce, there is something is going to be introduced and releasing. I'm 100% sure that all these 4 sales, service, chat, customer commerce, and all is going to be go live on the Dreamforce. That's what I'm expecting for. So let's hope for the best in the next Dreamforce. Coming Dreamforce, we'll see all this in live. Yeah, this common, yeah, because that's data cloud is something that we're all talking about it. Yeah, pretty sure it could hurt many on the data cloud side. Yeah. Thank you. Any other questions, team? All right, team. Thank you for joining today. Have a good rest of the weekend and good rest of the day as well. Let's catch up in the next session. Thank you. Bye-bye.